providing the introductions for this evening. Okay, so by a show of hands, who here has never been to a DC Bloggers event or is new? Okay, oh, that's a lot of people. So for those of you who are new and want to know a little bit more about us, we are the DC chapter of the Blogger Union. The Blogger Union is a supportive community of bloggers dedicated to growing with one another. We do this by having monthly meetups to learn more about the blogging industry and connect, like the event you're at tonight. And the Blogger Union has over 10 chapters across the US, and it's free to become a member on thebloggerunion.com. And before we get started, for today's event, please use the following handles and hashtags when covering on social media for a chance to be featured. So it's at the DC Bloggers, at Espresso5, at Occasionally Lux, and at Macy's Pentagon City, who's nice enough to host us for this evening. We also have a videographer here today, Ernie from at Out of Time Productions. Yay, Ernie! And behind the camera we have Roberta from at Pink Waffle Photography. We also have Ibrahim from IOB Photo Booth, and if you want to come up and say a few words.
Yes, I would like to. Hello everyone, how are you? So, I'm so happy to be here. To introduce myself, my name is Ibrahim. I am the owner of IOB Photo Booth, and we're super excited to be working with the DC Bloggers again here at Macy's. So, we're going to be running something very special today. We're going to be running a hybrid photo booth. What is a hybrid photo booth? Hybrid photo booth is when you have a physical photo booth on site and a virtual photo booth running simultaneously. So, once you come up, take a photo at the photo booth, you'll also be asked to scan the QR code. Scan the QR code. Everything you did at the photo booth physically, you can now do right from your phone.
Oh, nice.
And this also works anywhere. Anywhere. At IOB Photo Booth, EYEOBEE Photo Booth. All right, thanks.
Thank you, Ibrahim, and as he said, be sure to head to the photo booth throughout tonight's event so you can get some really cool pictures. I'm very excited about that hybrid model. That sounds really cool. Also, a special thanks to our venue for hosting us tonight, Macy's, here at Fashion Center, Pentagon City. And they have a few sales and promos going on in store that they would love to share. So Valerie and Betsy, if you could please come on up.
Hello everyone, and my name's Valerie Dollison. I'm the store director here for Macy's at Pentagon, and I want to thank all of you guys for coming back. I remember when you came the first time, it was exciting and it was a hit. I think you guys ran for 48 hours because our CEO was also following all of you guys. So thank you for the marketing of my building, and then I also want to turn it over to Betsy, who is the director for our beauty department and division in this market.
So hi, I'm Betsy. We're super excited to have you guys back, so thank you again for coming in. I do have a few of our vendor partners who are here. They're going to talk to you about some of the Black Friday specials and some promotions that we're going to be running in December. So I'm going to turn it over to Maria, who is our brand partner for It Cosmetics, and she's going to talk to you about a couple of things for It Cosmetics.
Hi, how are you? So beauty stuff from inside out. So we are thank you Macy's for inviting us and the DC Bloggers. So we have today, our brand is called It Cosmetics. I overlook the region. We are all about empowering women. So all of our products feature that. The most important thing is for you guys to feel good about yourself. So these products help you to improve your skin, which is the best part of your makeup. So we have a lot of new products for the season. We're launching the new serums. So please take a look. We have amazing sets for the holiday season as well. Great deals. So November 30, Macy's is starting their extra 15% off. So that would be a great opportunity because most of those kits are at such a great price. So what you do, you add on that 15%, so you can start pre-selling as well. Tonight, It Cosmetics is, I'm here for you guys also to provide any information you want to have. But also, if you want to pre-sell, you have a special gift from us. A special for all of you. And I'm gonna pass it now to Pachu. She's gonna be talking about her line as well.
Hi everyone, I'm Pochu. I am one of the coordinators for Clinique. So if any of you guys are skincare junkies out there, we have a lot of amazing deals coming up for Black Friday. So our Macy's Black Friday promotions start next Tuesday, a little early. We've actually got some running right now, so if you guys have some time afterwards, go downstairs and check out the beauty department. But for Clinique specifically, starting next Tuesday on the 23rd, running through the entire week, we've got up to 50% off a lot of our holiday sets. So if you guys are starting your holiday shopping, get on down there. There's a lot of sets that are on sale. And I've got some sets up here to show you guys. We've also got some new products that we want to do some demonstrations with. So come and shop our Black Friday. So I'm going to pass it over to my leader, who is our Estee Lauder coordinator, to talk about some of her promotions down there.
Thank you, Pochu. Hi, everyone. Hi. I'm an Estee Lauder coordinator for this area. So, like Clinique, we're also having a lot of Black Friday deals. Next Wednesday, we will have everything will be 20% off. All Estee Lauder, everything except our big makeup set. But that is also a really good deal because it is the same price as our #1 best-selling serum. So you get full eyeshadow, full color, full everything. So it's a good time to try everything else in our line. And then we have also some other select gift sets that will be 30% off. So next week is the time to really share with your followers things that are going on with Estee Lauder as well. But I'm going to send it back to you guys to get started.
Thank you.
Thank you
so much for all the
Thanks
great
for coming, everyone.
A lot of great deals and sales happening tonight at Macy's and throughout the holiday season. So just a friendly reminder, if you all could turn down the volume on your phones during the presentation so no one gets disturbed and you can make sure to get all the information. And your parking can be validated for up to 2 hours at the Macy's customer service desk, just 1 floor down. So anyone that drove in the rain and the traffic, get your parking validated. And at the end of today's presentation, our DC Blogger chapter officer, the fabulous Carly from the Carly Chic, will tell us a little bit more about future events, and we will end with a group photo. So sit back, relax, and get ready to take some notes. I'm proud to introduce our 2 speakers today, Lisa from Occasionally Not Lux and Liz from Espressified. They're 2 of my blogger besties and just best friends in general. They are such genuine people who are so incredibly knowledgeable about the blogger world. They not only have big followings, but they are out there making connections, building community. They're just some of the best people I know. So I am so excited to hand it off to you guys. Let's give them a warm welcome.
All right, well, hello, I'm Lisa from Occasionally Lux. I have been blogging since 2018, and I have to thank Carly for this amazing community because when I first started, I didn't know what to do, where to go, where the resources were, where the community was, but as Francia said, we met at our very first DC Blogger event, sat in the back together, and we've been friends ever since, and so I couldn't imagine this journey without most of the people in this room and the community. So just wanted to say thank you again to Carly for having us up here. So like I said, I've been blogging since 2018, and it's been such a fun journey. This year itself has actually been a really rewarding year for my brand. We have a real estate division. It's one vacation home, but it's in 38, Florida, and I took the girls down there for a trip, and it was really a lot of fun. So just kind of building on the things that are interesting and fun for me and fit my portfolio, real estate was one. Another one was we just launched my jewelry line, Occasionally Lux Jewelry, in October. And on Tuesday, we dropped our holiday collection, which is the Lux Charms collection. So if you guys have a chance to check it out, please do. It's occasionallyluxjewelry.com. But again, I wouldn't have gotten anywhere without this community and the support. And just everyone here is just always so fun to be around and supportive. And you always have someone to shoot with, someone to talk to, bounce things off of. So hopefully we can share some of what we've learned along the way with you.
Hi everyone, my name is Liz of Espressified. I do not have a jewelry line. I run a vacation rental home in the Emerald Coast, which is gorgeous. You really should rent this place out. I love it. I actually posted today about her jewelry line, and that's what it's about, collaboration and sharing with other people all the good things that you love. But truly, her line is something that's really endearing. You really should check it out. It's link in her bio. I know I'm boosting her, but she's worked so hard. She's worked so hard. It's the holiday time. They're custom made. They take a while to come. But I really treasure that, her hard work. So I'm also boosting her. Just she wouldn't say that herself, so I'm here to say that. Espressify didn't start off how I thought it would at all. I was thinking it was going to be a community blog. I was going to pull friends together and say, hey, do you guys want to be featured on my blog? Write about yourselves. Write about any stories you want. You know, do you love the arts? Write about arts, home decor, jiu-jitsu, all the things. Put it on my blog. And everyone's like, yes, I want to write. And I was like, cool. I made the domain, designed the whole thing, and I was like, okay, send me your articles, and no one's writing. You know, people are really critical of their own writing, critical about themselves, and to me, my heart sank because I wanted to see their energy, and I wanted to bring it together for them. So I started posting a little bit on my own, and as soon as I started posting my own face, I got more engagement. People wanted to identify with someone who's writing these things about this food or this place that they like to visit. So I decided to rename everything, call it Espressify, because I'm thinking of it like, especially in Europe, when you go to a cafe and you have some coffee, it's a little coffee with a little something sweet, and you're sitting with friends or family and you're chit-chatting. And that's how I see my life, to enjoy. Another part of my life that I must share, I can't really see you. I am mostly blind, completely blind in the right side, and on my left side peripherally it's gone too, and there's a wrinkle in the middle. But thank God I still have some in the left. So if you come to shake my hand and I don't shake it, it's COVID. But B, it's because I don't see it. So just kind of raise your hand, or if you're trying to get my attention, like really put your hands up. I would so appreciate that. I'm also somebody who loves people. So I don't ignore anybody. If I just like keep walking, I don't see you. I can hear pretty well if you say my name. Just get right in front of me. Okay. Other things that drove me to want to connect with other people. I'm a double organ transplant patient, got a new kidney and pancreas, things are working great, I'm so happy. I'm also a Crohn's disease warrior, in remission, thank God, in addition to the vision sight and things that are happening in my life. And one thing that happened about 20 years ago, I was pregnant with my daughter, only have one, actually my kid, she's non-binary, and I stopped breathing one night. I had to go into the hospital and I had 104 temperature. In the middle of the night, I completely stopped breathing. They intubated me, medevaced me from one hospital to the next, didn't even know what was happening. I wasn't awake, completely out of it. And the only thing I knew is intubation sucks. Because when you wake out of it, even though you're on medication, you still feel, all the things that are happening, you're kind of aware. And B, if these nurses that didn't come into my room every day to check on me and treat me like a human being, I don't know what I would have done. It was depressing. I missed everybody in life. I'd wake up when no one was there but the nurses. And I remember one time in particular, I was telling them on paper that I didn't feel like I was human. The next day, 20 years ago, they brought in scrunchies to pull my hair back, that cherry chapstick stuff, it's cheap, but it was really nice that they brought it in, and they applied it for me and shaved my leg. Because I was like, I feel it'll cover me up. And while they were doing that, I started crying, but I was also like choking on the intubation too, so I was trying to control it. And I thought, I can't wait to pay them back. When I get out of here, I want to do something for them. I returned to the hospital, couldn't find any of them. Plus, you're not allowed to just casually go into critical care and be like, hey, how are you? It doesn't work that way. I don't know from left and right of me who my nurses were. I could be talking to one of them and not know. Also, my organ transplant donor, I don't know who the family is. So I treat everyone like they are the sister of the person who gave me the organs, that my nurse is sitting right next to me that I didn't know, or maybe you're the daughter of the nurse. Everyone. You don't know who you're going to need in life or who is going to be there, or vice versa. If you're going to need to be there for them, the only thing that pulled me through intubation was connection with others. So everyone that feels that, raise your hand. Yes, okay. And that is the whole story, and I thought I really need to keep putting that out there, so people don't feel alone. That when they're going through blindness or organ transplant or Crohn's disease or just everyday normal things with Crohn's, all this stuff with the pandemic, all the feelings that come up with it, at least I can spark some joy in that. Same thing with Lisa, all the things that she posts about is very joyous. We don't bash people on social media whatsoever. We know that people are important. I hope you guys really learned something about the other person that was speaking to you. I want you to keep these connections with the people that you just spoke to. Afterwards, if you didn't introduce yourself with a handle name, follow one another, support one another. And this is also part of blogger etiquette that we're going to break into a little bit. I asked on Instagram questions, like, do you have any questions? What are your questions about blogging or Instagram influencing or food blogging, whatever it was, and I got a whole bunch of responses. So we're going to go over those responses and kind of go over what the etiquette is on each of them. And then if you have any further feedback, please let us know. Raise your hands really high. We'll try to go through them fairly quickly, but if you really feel strongly about something or you want to express, please put the hands way up in the air. I love when people give their 2 cents. Okay? Great. I'll start off. Let me get this paper. I couldn't memorize every entry that people gave me, so I put this on paper. Okay, I'm going to go over when you're working with brands or public relations companies, PR firms in the area. Something that came out was the thank yous and shout outs. Always remember to thank people when you're posting, when you're writing an email, in person when you're there, because they've provided so much to you. It's really important. And then shout them out. Don't forget them in your social media posts. I know some companies will say, don't forget to tag at Macy's Pentagon City, which is very important here, by the way. But if you're, let's say, the PR firm that invited you there and they're on social media and very active, shout them out and they'll remember you for that, or tag them in the picture, whatever you can do. That seemed pretty important. The next thing is to be very responsive. So when you're going through your DMs and your emails, make sure to respond as soon as you can. That way they can include you in their plans or they can remember you for next time, but it just overall is a thing that you should be doing. Also with, let's see, the next one was recommending one another. Let's say you got invited in your DMs to be at an event tonight, but you knew you were going to be here. What you can do is recommend one another. You know, you were talking to your best friend now next to you, or with 2 others that you were speaking to, and say, you know, I can't make it, but I know some really cool influencers or bloggers who can. And then suggest. We forget this because we're just on a go, go, go mode every single day, trying to get things done and answer quickly, right? But it's really appreciated. So if I'm sure, like, I can't make it, but Meredith may be able to, here's her handle name. This is a beautiful Meredith over here in the secret. That's, of course, your blogger friends are going to love that too. Can you imagine? It's like, oh, I got invited to speak at Macy's Pentagon City because I said that she would be, you know. This is really good etiquette. It's also good to connect, and plus people will also refer you because you referred them. Everything blossoms from there, yeah? Okay. Exclusivity. When you get invited to Macy's, for example, don't tag Nordstrom in your post, right? Nothing wrong with Nordstrom, but you're working with Macy's, right? This is just the thing. Don't tag other brands. Don't feature them in your pictures. If somebody gave you, you know, a fur coat to work with, don't tag your shoes and your lipstick and stuff in addition, because it takes away from the importance of that particular post. Maybe later you wear the fur coat and then you can tag the whole outfit because it's not, you know, the post you're going to be doing. But make sure to exclusively, you know, feature that brand. Just my 2 cents on that one. Professionalism. This seems to go without saying, but even when you're speaking to brands and PRs in your DMs, make sure to check over your spelling and grammar because they're going to look at that. People get judgy. I know we shouldn't judge one another, right? We shouldn't condemn. But like, when you're like, oh, I'm so thankful, you're amazing, and they spell it Y-O-U-R, amazing, I'm like, ugh, like, you know? I know, and I shouldn't think about it, but people care. Yeah, people care. So just put your best foot forward in there. Make sure you're paying attention to the spelling and grammar. Try to spell things out, you know, instead of saying PLS for please, it would be, you know, PLEASE. And I know it's DMs. When you're speaking to your friends, okay, fine. The brands in PR, the ones that are looking at you to represent them, they want somebody who's thorough and professional. Okay. Also remember in that light to write your thank yous and follow up with them. You know, maybe it's the event that you recommended somebody else to. After the event's done, you can go back and say, thanks so much for inviting me. I know I couldn't make it. Meredith came in my absence, but I appreciate you for thinking of me. They're going to go, wow, they're really thoughtful. And they'll probably think of you for the next one. Okay. Be very transparent. Remember your disclosures. Most people can see through your posts anyway. If it's an ad and you don't put ad, they're gonna be like, this looks kind of salesy. But people appreciate when you put ad, gifted, sponsored, things like that. You should be, according to FTC guidelines, disclosing. But just in case you think it's not important, it is. So just throwing that out there. People appreciate that transparency. Also, I have to mention in that light, I know that everyone's just trying to make it and do it, but when you start not being yourself or aspiring to be like someone else, people see through it. Just be you, please. I know that it sounds so trite to say that, but once you are really you, you get that following that appreciates how you put things out into the world and your energy radiates that way. Just keep doing that. Okay. And then pitching. When you're pitching in the DMs, keep it short and sweet. Try not to give them a life story because they're going to look at this and go, oh my gosh. Pitch, just say, hi, my name is, and this is my page, of course, and I would love to collaborate with you. Who is the person I should get in touch with, or what is their email address? Very nice, professional, spelling grammar is all there, and it's short and sweet, and they will just give you the contact that you need. And then you can write the in-depth email, also attach your media kit, spelling grammar, everything is important there too, but make sure DMs are short and sweet. And then you can spell everything out in the emails, also follow up, but follow up nicely. Don't chase them down after 3 times of reaching out. Just let them breathe, maybe another time. Yeah? Okay. Before I pass it over to Lisa, does anybody have any other like tips for brands and PR companies that are etiquette based? Yes.
I do. I'm a publicist, and a lot of times, if you do, the biggest thing is when they hit you up, sometimes your email address is in there. So if you DM them, and only DM them if they say DMs are open, but most of the time their contact is there for you to do it. And there are a lot of the major brands I work with, if they see that you went and saw that their email address or their phone number was there, they give extra points to that. And so also, you know, and as you said, keep it simple. Keep it 3 sentences or less. And a lot of times you were right about that, but if you show the effort that you did your research, if they posted a new blog or something like that, reference that so that they'll buy into supporting you.
Wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, thank you. What is your name?
I'm Chandra.
Chandra?
Mm-hmm.
Everybody give it up for Chandra. Oh, sorry.
It's not a question, but you were saying the grammar, the spelling. I suggest downloading Grammarly on your computer.
Save
your life. It's like amazing.
Yeah.
And it's free. You can also upgrade it for a little, like, I don't know, I think it's like $12.
Yeah.
But it is, you should have it in your computer.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Grammarly is so helpful. It'll just tell you and click a few buttons and everything's cured again.
The last thing really quickly, a lot of people don't think about it, but making certain that if you know someone's name to spell it correctly.
Yes.
I cannot tell you how many times, like, so my name is in my handle, and my name is Tiffany, but so many people spell it with a Y, and I'm like, it says Tiffany with an I. Like, how did you get my handle right but still spell my name wrong? So just being mindful of that and, like, think about it when you're sending stuff.
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
super important. Sometimes I get called Lisa, I'm like,
Yeah. And it's okay to ask. Like, it's okay.
If
Like,
it's not clear in their
exactly.
handle,
Yeah. Or how to pronounce it. Like, that's perfectly okay.
yes. Yeah.
One more comment, Indiana.
Oh, yes. Yes.
I recently was reached out to by a brand, and it was it said, how about a collab? So immediately I thought it was a scam, because I feel like on social media now that's the new thing. But I didn't know how to say, I couldn't figure out if it was a scam. So do you have any advice on how to respond to get additional information on the company? Without saying, are you a scammer?
Well, I would probably, if it's a company that you've like researched and looked at their handle, and they've connected with you, you have them email you what they had in mind and just see where it comes from. Yeah, if it's like one of those long letter number email addresses that's like from a foreign country, like no thanks. But yeah, like she said, my contact is in my bio, so feel free to email me with your details.
Well, no, they did. That was an email.
Oh, it was an email,
And it
wasn't
said,
a
how
DM.
about a collab?
Yeah.
And I was like,
Did you
okay,
research the brand?
I did, and they were based on Amazon. but I couldn't find like they're sold on Amazon. They had reviews. The reviews look legitimate. But
So my experience with those Amazon ones is they'll go through this whole thing, pick these outfits, and send them to you, and then they'll be like, and then all you have to do is pay for shipping.
Yeah.
Shipping's like $50. I'm like, no, sorry, not doing that. And yes, I do collaborations for free and stuff, but I'm working to do all of this stuff. I'm going to give you really good content, and this isn't, no, that's not going to work, and it is spammy, especially the Amazon ones with them sticky. And I, just to throw that out there, usually I say, okay, what did you have in mind? Can you give me the full details? Thank you, Liz. Make it short and sweet. Okay, so we're going to move to the next section. And Lisa's going to take over.
So we're going to touch on working together with other creatives, and that can be photographers, videographers, other bloggers. If you guys follow me and know kind of what my page is, I do a lot of group events. I love pulling people together. That's just kind of my forte. I grew up playing team sports, so that's just my mentality. It's always more fun with more people, and I love just sharing opportunities and making connections with other people. So when you are working with other creatives, like Roberta here, our photographer, make sure to tag them because they're really relying on you to help share and showcase their business. If you're doing a photo shoot, Kathleen, who is not here tonight, she helped me photograph my jewelry line, and she just had this vision that was amazing and so creative and helpful, and we got some behind the scenes shots, which was really just fun to share how much work actually goes into producing a photo, not even just everything else. So just be sure to call everyone out and give them credit. And paid or not paid, you just want to make sure that you are helping to support them as they are helping you. Other bloggers, again, as I said, I like to do a lot of things with all my blogger friends. So, of course, including them in any of the events I'm hosting or doing, it's just a great way to help everyone. It's a win-win. You can help the brand by getting more exposure, but you also help your friends getting other opportunities. And some things I'm really great at. Becky's amazing at videos, so I'm like, Becky, like, let's go. And I'll do, you know what I mean? So just having a team and a group of people that you can really connect with and be creative with is great, but also give them credit because they're doing amazing work. It's also just a big part in fostering rewarding work relationships, not just with each other, but brands as well, and we see, how well you work together with others. For blogger events, I think Liz touched on this a little bit, but if you're invited to an event by another blogger, be a gracious guest. It's always just really good practice to be considerate and ask them, how can I help support this event for you? Do you want me to post on my own? Do you want me to wait until you take the person who was invited to kind of set the tone and kick off so that they can share their deliverables and their requirements, and then you guys can supplement and support them as well. So there's just a couple of different things, I guess. I had a blogger brunch in September, and that was my own event. So I loved that everyone pitched in and shared stories and tagged vendors that helped me make that day special. But if I was inviting someone to an event where I'm the invited guest, like, give me a sec just to kind of put out the content, show that I was there, show that I supported the event, and then my guest is also going to actually share as well. So it's a win-win for everybody, but just be considerate and ask them. Okay, so getting to rates and contacts. So don't be offended if other bloggers don't freely share their rates or their contacts. Sometimes rates are actually confidential, and in your contract it is non-disclosure, so you can't really share that information. For contacts, it can be a little tricky because the blogger doesn't want to strain that relationship with a brand or that contact and just freely give out someone's information. If your friend or your blogger Fred has a brand that you want to work with and you're really into it and you're really are ready for it and you're going to take it seriously, you can ask them, but the best case scenario is that they're going to ask their contact if they can share your information with them. So it might not be a direct connection, but again, they don't want to actually strain their own relationship and risk kind of getting murky with that.
I've had to do that a couple times.
Yeah.
If someone say, hey, I saw you stayed at this hotel, can I have the contact for that hotel so I can go stay too? Like, let me go ask my contact if it's okay first.
Yeah.
And then I'll share with you, and if I can, I will, I promise.
Yeah.
And they know my heart, I want to, but we have to do what best practice is first and make sure it's okay with the person who invited us initially. So,
Exactly, yes. Liz also touched on DMs. Just be really prompt in your response and get back to everybody. If people are reaching out to you, then obviously they want to engage with you. You can build your audience and your rapport with everyone. If you're running behind, just maybe do a public story. Hey guys, I'm running behind on my DMs. Hoping to get back to you as soon as possible. Or I know sometimes they get buried. Just say, DM me again, and it'll flip to the top. But kind of like what you're saying, I do get opportunities in my DMs, so it's best to obviously check even the request folder that, sometimes they're creepy. But if you go through, there are actually valid opportunities that come through, and if it's not something for you, just politely decline. You don't have to ignore them or be rude, but you never know what it could lead to. So even if it's maybe not a paid opportunity, but maybe down the line because you were so professional and responsive, they're going to remember that and want to work with you again in the future. So never discount anyone reaching out to you. Okay, so posting with others. Again, I do a lot of group events, so it's always good practice to check with everyone in the photo to make sure they're happy with the image, if they feel okay with it. You don't want to post things, that's unflattering for someone else, and no one wants that, right? So, caveat, if you have friends like Liz who aren't as picky and are like, sure, go ahead, that's like one thing, but obviously if you know them well enough, you kind of know their comfort level. And if you're even second guessing, like, is that a good one? Probably just double check to be sure and be safe. Comments and engagement, same thing, again, be responsive and authentic and real in your replies. Read the entire caption first. Sometimes the photos don't actually directly show what the actual caption is, and it could be something sad that they're a dress or something, whatever the case may be. So read that, be authentic, especially with collabs. So when we're posting brand collabs, the brands are reading the comments, and for it to show that it was successful, your friends are really looking for you to show applicable comments, things that make sense, and that you're sharing interest with the brand and supporting them that way. So yeah, kind of like lastly, follower count. Don't treat anyone differently based on their follower count, if they're higher or lower than you. Everyone brings a value. There are tons of accounts, maybe just new, just starting, smaller, different niches, but I can learn something from everybody. Everyone has something to share. They have a gift, they have a value, and it doesn't matter what follower count is. That shouldn't have any effect on how you treat someone, because we all started somewhere, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, we're all just trying to get there too. So
Okay. And now back to back to anybody have any tidbits on what she just shared before I
have one question. Yeah, so I haven't fully started my account yet. I mean, started, but haven't.
Let's do it right now.
That's good. So when reaching out to brands, I have some brands I want to reach out to, but the follower count for me is a bit low. So I'm like, damn, should I reach out now and try, or should I wait till I grow more? What's your tips for that?
Sure. So I'm not sure how far along you are on your page, but I would make sure that the aesthetic on my page is set up correctly. The captions are all how I want it to read, that if a brand were to look at my page or look at your page, that you're happy with that you're representing whatever you wrote about. Put your best foot forward, so make sure that your bio is in line, you have a way for them to contact you, and make sure, of course, spelling, grammar, all the things are correct when you're reaching out, and just try. If it's a no now, it could be a yes in 6 months to a year, but I would try anyway.
Yeah. And just make sure that what you're what you're putting forward matches what you're trying to go for. So if you're a food blogger, but you're asking to promote shoes, those doesn't quite correlate. So make sure you're putting your best foot forward, and also just that you match who you're going for. Yeah.
A lot of companies now are also looking at micro-influencers. They may not care for people with a following, a bigger following, because they know that engagement rates are usually higher with micro-influencers. So don't pay attention to your follower count so much as your page. Pay attention to what you're putting out there, put your best foot forward, because they're looking now to hone in on what matters. Because there's all sorts of analytic websites, and they can just click on a website, type in your handle name, and find all your stats right there. So you worry about you, reach out to everybody. Yeah. Okay. All right. Okay, let's talk about blogger etiquette at events really quickly. Hi everyone, you're at an event today. It's a perfect time to talk about this actually. Be on time or early. I mean, that sounds like it's a normal thing, and sometimes you're like, oh, I can be fashionably late. Try not to be, especially if you're representing you're a speaker, like we came an hour early or something like that. We were just here just in case there was some traffic or something.
We should camp out. Let's just like stay.
Good idea. Yeah. And we wanted to make sure we were helpful. Just make sure that, especially if you're on time, if you're invited as the guest of honor, or you're collaborating with them, that you're on time, because it shows that you care about what they're doing. Offer to assist or to help if you can. Obviously, if they're doing like this big setup and it's like crystal chandeliers everywhere and champagne popping like that, of course, is off niche. But if you have somebody that you see your contact there, ask like, how can I help? How can I be of assistance in addition to capturing content? Okay. Again, giving credit is really important. And when you're at events, sometimes you get lost in all of the energy of the people because you love to connect with others, and that's the most important thing. You're capturing content. But give credit to the photographers, to the venue you're in, like here at Macy's Pentagon City. Whoever decorated the space, that's really important. They put their heart and soul into the aesthetic. So like balloons, flowers, anything that you see around you. Food and beverage. Food is love, I think, personally. And it's prepared and they're presented for you. So not only is it an aesthetic, it came from the heart somewhere. So make sure to give credit there. To suppliers and vendors, like if they had reusable items or whatever is there, give credit. Somebody took money from somewhere and supplied you with all of that. So just like if you were to invite somebody to a birthday party, you paid attention to every little thing there, and they want to make sure that you notice that, but give credit as well. Thank your host and vendors, really, really important because they're hosting you there. Make sure that you post promptly. So you may capture all this content and think 2 weeks from now you'll be done with the content, but communicate with whoever invited you. They may need you to post tomorrow or the next day because it's something that they're really excited about and proud that they invited you to. So make sure that you post within a good time frame. And I personally think it's good to make sure you reach out and say, hey, this is what I thought about my caption. I'm going to write this. Is this okay with you? Did I capture everything? They love that because they don't have control, but they have a little say-so.
Yeah. I'm sorry, may I ask a question? Yes. I'm sorry. So how you can, so the question is, so if you have so much events, like let's say it could be 2 events per day, every day, or like 3-4 times in the week, like how you can, do you do like some spreadsheet? How are you tracking all those things? Like how are you controlling yourself? Do you have some app or some like tool on the laptop? I don't know, like no spreadsheet, obviously it's not going to work probably, but some program you're using to keep tracking all this.
Yeah,
or,
so
organize all this.
I'll give you my 2 cents and then I will ask you. So if she has a similar setup, I write everything down on my planners. And I know that if I've got, first of all, I don't do like 2 events in a day. I think that would cause burnout, and you would have blogger burnout so fast, and that's the worst feeling, like, I have to catch up, I have so much content. But also your phone shows you where you've been. So let's say I was here at Macy's and afterwards I'm going to Filomena's or something. I have all those photos from the event right there, and then right after I have all this stuff from Filomena's, so it kind of gives me this chronological recording of where I've been. My calendar, when I say yes to an event, I ask them when I should be posting, and I write on my social media management calendar what day I'm posting about what. And I prepare it in advance, so I'm not scrambling every single day to figure out, what do I post today, what do I say? That's too much. It's already a full-time job doing this. People don't understand that you just don't post a picture and you walk away like, oh no, that was fun. That's not how it is, right? So I use my calendar as much as I can, both Google Calendar and writing things out so I can kind of plan, use all my photos in chronological order. I heart them as my favorites, so those are the ones I'm going to be posting, checking in with captions and things like that. But I try to go as chronologically as I can. But it's most.
Do you do like SMM planner, let's say after posting, or you don't do those?
Like a later, yeah. I want to, but I worry that like something's going to go awry and it's going to be some random thing and my caption will jumble. I probably should trust the process, but yeah, same thing with Liz. I obviously use my phone and my calendar quite often, and then I like to write things out as well as how I remember it. But if y'all don't know, Yana is like a supermodel that was just in the JoJo show that we went to last week. And she's amazing, and she's been to like 2 things now already, so she's great. So yeah, welcome. Thank you for coming. Yeah.
Sorry, I'm pretty old school with that. I'm calendars, Google calendars, things like that.
So one of the questions about like using platform like third-party platforms.
Yes.
So I do social media management for clients, so trying to manage my own things in theirs. I will schedule theirs, The only platform that I've noticed that's good to use, I've used a few, is just the Creator Studio, and that's Facebook's own.
Right.
So I've noticed that they will prioritize your posts as opposed to a Hootsuite or Planoly or Later or something like that.
Yeah.
So Creator Studio is a good one to use.
Thank you.
I also don't really trust third-party apps too much, but because Instagram doesn't like anything else coming into their app doing anything anyway. It's just like Apple, it's like a big no-no to them. Yeah. So try to stick to Facebook, Instagram things and old school processes because that works the best. But anytime you have something coming into Instagram onto your account that's not you, it flags that, it knows that. And sometimes it'll take your account away from you. That's the scary part. It happens. It's happened a lot lately. Also, it's Q4, Christmas time. People don't want their pages taken away from them, and hackers are all about it. So if you don't have two-step verification set up on your accounts, do it. Get Duo, do all the things. Everything to protect all your work, because that's your heart and soul right there. So I'm going to throw that out there. Yeah. Okay, let's see. We went through all of that. Okay, make sure you keep your word. If you say you're going to be somewhere, be there. If an emergency comes up, things happen, recommend somebody else. Again, I can't make it. I'm so sorry something happened, but Meredith might be able to make it if you want to reach out.
Meredith will be available for everybody.
She's sparkly. I just keep going back to what I love it. But recommend one another. They'll appreciate that instead of scrambling for somebody else to cover for the public relations that's missing there. We're going to shift a little bit. How many of you do food blogging at all? Maybe it's even on your lifestyle page. If you could put your hands way up. Yeah. So we got some food. Oh my God, I just ate a lot. I like to share some food pictures.
Oh, nice. Okay.
So, yeah. And lifestyle. So with food and beverage, well, Lisa's going to kick it off and talk about photos. Do you remember? Okay, I'll do it then. So make sure that your photos, when you take photos of food, you already know it smells good and it looks good to you and you're going to eat this and enjoy it. But people looking at the photo aren't really sure, so make sure you capture the aesthetic, pay attention to the lighting, make sure that you don't get somebody in the background with their mouth open and sticking something in their mouth. It just doesn't look right. Take the best pictures you can to represent, especially if you've been invited by the restaurant or a PR company to come and enjoy a meal. That's really important. Capture the best content as possible. Tipping. You may be getting this food for it's complimentary so that you can work posting about it and giving them some props, but make sure to tip your wait staff. Really important. Sometimes you forget. Next one's about food and not being wasteful. Please don't be wasteful. Take the food home with you if you can. Offer it to other people if it wasn't quite your thing, but if the restaurant was kind enough to have the chef prepare something for you and it's getting posted somewhere, can you imagine if with your heart and soul you made something and you gave it to an influencer, they took pictures and they left it there? Yeah. I mean, maybe you don't prefer that kind of thing because they just prepared whatever, but take it to go. Tip your waiter, be kind. If something went wrong, report it back to whoever invited you and talk about it there, but don't throw a fit in the restaurant. If something's really wrong, mention it kindly. Don't forget to tip, don't be wasteful. Yeah? Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. I think we went all over the things that were submitted to us. Does anybody have any questions about anything we've talked about tonight in terms of blogger etiquette or anything about our particular accounts or how we operate at all?
I do. So it was mentioned about, participating in events that you are invited to and balancing when to post, when not to post. One of the struggles that I have is I feel like, oh my gosh, I'm here now. Let me go ahead and post now, but then I don't necessarily get the opportunity to experience it. And understanding you have to balance that. Right. And I'm still trying to get in my battle rhythm for doing that, knowing, should I post now? I like to tell the story, so for me, I have to do it all at one time, but that may not be feasible to do it then. What are some tips or things that you guys have adopted?
Yeah, I think everyone's style is different, right? I personally like to kind of look at all of my content and make sure that I can put together a nice cohesive story or post so that it makes sense. Like if you weren't there, I can take you on the journey and it's in order. Some people are really great about posting in the moment and they can get that up really quickly. I think it just really depends on your style, and if you have a deliverable, if you need to have it up by a certain day, or if they want real-time posting, then of course those are your obligations to do so, right? So I think personally, like, I don't know, for this event, I wouldn't expect you guys to post now, or even later. I want you to enjoy the event and then, you know, reference it when you have a moment. So I don't think it's, I think it just depends on if you have an actual deliverable due to accompany a brand. But
yeah, and in terms of how I do it, I usually capture as much as I can, but I like to fully envelop myself in what's happening. I like to go and meet people and taste the foods and pay attention to what's going around me versus my phone. And can you imagine you as an influencer, you're like on your phone in the corner with this gorgeous setup in the food or whatever it is. So when they ask for real-time stories, for example, I tell them that I can, but maybe if I can publish it just a few hours later. And I tell them why. Because not only am I posting a story with the pictures and I'm tagging things, I'm also hiding hashtags in the background. I'm adding music, I'm adding jiffies if possible. There's a lot of things that I'm putting in the background to make sure this gets visibility, higher visibility. They may not understand that because they're not in PR. So I mentioned that to see if a couple hours would be okay. If not in real time. But usually I don't post in real time. I will take all my content, smooth it out, post the next day or something like that so that it looks cohesive, like she said. Use a different app. Yeah.
Another thing too, I know in my experience, I've tried to do some stories in real time. And then take some content that you do later that you can hide all the hashtags. So they get some real time, some later. And then I always get like a sequence of photos that I will do like over several days. So that can be themed for different things. So, especially because I know you mentioned you do some travel. So that's great for like some of that travel stuff. Because then you can go to a place, you do some real-time stories, then you do some more like stylized with everything added stories, and then you can do, and some of those stories that you've stylized later can be in conjunction with some of your real-time photos.
Apparently we're still in 38, right? Like,
Yeah.
So yeah, it's like it can live on. It can, and you can repurpose it.
And there's some things, for example, I went to 38 to a vacation home and I wanted to post about it in real time. I had a death in the family. Can you imagine if I went to the funeral and the very next day I was like, I'm here in 38? Like, you can't. So I waited a whole week. But the vendors that we had at the house with grazing board and things like that, they were appreciative because not only was there coverage in real time, but then a week later there's more things that they can post. So they're really happy about that because we spread it out. So
nice.
Yeah, how are you handling, let's say, like awkward situation? Like we spoke with if you're not able to visit the event and let's say you invited somebody else instead of you and the person, let's say, get drunk or I don't know, you know, it happens. So, and how are you handling this in front of that people? Should you be responsible or feel like, you know, I'm definitely understanding.
You can only obviously offer your apologies, right? Like you can't control someone else, but
that's all you really
or
can
somebody
do.
posted something like, let's say, put a music on a different country which is to have a war with your country. Let's say something like even politician things like that. But let's say this person just not aware about that, and it was, let's say, in the embassy, and you know, like some things like that happening.
The first thing I would do is communicate. That's always your go-to. You can DM them or text if you have their number, because that's pretty.
When you capture that, just like, you know, do
make them aware, communicate, and say, hey, by the way, it's not a good time to put this music on this country's thing because it doesn't. There's an issue there.
So it's not going to be a rude kind of thing.
No,
because I know that it's kind of sensitive here.
It's awareness. They may not have been aware. If they are aware, then that's a different thing. But make them aware and just say, hey, I just wanted to let you know, maybe you want to rethink, repost it without the music or something like that. But communicating is always the biggest thing. On my Twitter account, I put tweet how you want to be tweeted. And that's basically how you want to treat anything else you do in life. If you have any questions, communicate. If something goes wrong and you're responsible or your guest is irresponsible, apologize. Help your friends. If I read her caption and she has a typo, and I'm like, oh girl, by the way, she's so appreciative of it. She's like, okay, she's not going to be like, who she thinks she is, correcting my spelling. Nobody's like that, right? So communicating and as soon as possible. So maybe, for example, my notifications on all social media are quieted, or else my phone is going off 24/7, right? But if I have her number, I'm texting her right away to say, hey, by the way, this is really sensitive, so I need to let you know.
what I would do in a circumstance like that as well is if a friend asked me to attend an event for them, I would first ask you, this is the content that I'm going to post, can you check it and approve it before I post it?
That's a great way to do
That
it.
way it clears all that up. Or I would tell somebody, you can go to this event, but can you please show me what you're going to post before you post it? So there was no embarrassment at all.
Yeah, like I said, I do go back to some PR, some brands and say, hey, this is what I think my caption is going to be, is this okay? I don't usually ask about stories and music because they leave the creativity up to me, and I'm going to post very placidly, if you will. But it's always a good idea to communicate, ask permission, when in doubt, ask, right? The different way. I think we have time for one more. One more question? Okay, one more question.
Becca? Today?
So if you're invited to an event from a fellow blogger friend, would you say it's proper etiquette to shout them out in your stories and thank them for the invite?
Yeah, sorry, I think I bypassed that on here. I was just talking, but yeah, definitely. Obviously, if you invite someone and they didn't even mention that they, came with you or thanked you for that, you would probably feel like, oh gosh, a little bit slighted, right? So, just always treat people the same way that you want to be treated, and it's just proper etiquette in general. If someone invited you to a party, you'd say thank you, take the host, you'd send a thank you note. So, of course, you want to acknowledge the connection and, yeah, be a gracious guest.
All right, everybody, thank you so much. PR companies, working at events, working with other bloggers, photographers, other vendors. So I think that was you covered a lot, and I loved it. So I've just got some closing remarks here, and then we'll get on with the rest of the evening. But my name is Carly. I work with DC Bloggers. I help set up monthly events. And so I'm just here to kind of talk about what things we have going on in the future here. This is our last event of the year. So we're going to take a little break in December, just so everybody can, have fun for the holidays, and we'll be back in January. So I'm working on some of those events now. We're going to have lots of really fun topics coming up. Some of those topics we're going to talk about in the next year is how to develop a media kit, how to pitch to brands. That's always a really popular topic, and pricing. We're going to talk about contracts for bloggers, so what to look for as you're looking through those 20-page contracts that maybe we're not used to seeing all the time. And lots of other fun things about strategies on how to grow on Instagram. So lots of really fun things to come up. So if you're not an official member yet, it is free. Just go on to thebloggerunion.com, select the DC chapter, and you'll kind of get those invites first as they come in. We have 1,000 members, so every time we have an event, it goes out to 1,000 people. So just kind of keep an eye out when you do see an event and you want to go. I definitely recommend grabbing those tickets there. But I know in January we're going to go back to 12 Studios. If you guys didn't see, we just did an event with them. They are expanding. She's going to get a new space, so she wants to do a grand opening and invite all of our bloggers back. It's normally $75 for an hour to take photos there. So she's opening it up for us for free, and it'll be a great opportunity for you guys to come in and get some content for your blog. We are also talking with some hotels coming up with some rooftops. That are heated in February, so don't worry. And they've got some speakeasies and things like that. So we're working on some really fun things. I'm very excited. And then, of course, some awesome speakers here from the area. All right, so I talked about that piece. One other piece I forgot to mention is we do have a private Facebook page. Not a lot of people know about this, but it's called DC Blogger Meetup. And let's say if you're hosting your own event, or you can't attend an event, or you have someone that you know is hosting an event, or you just want to ask a blogger question, you want to introduce yourself, feel free to go on DC Blogger Meetup on Facebook and ask to join. And feel free to kind of collaborate on there as well. So that's also an option that we have with our members. But just a quick thank you for Macy's again for hosting us. Thank you, Macy's and your team. Todd from Fashion Center Pentagon City stopped by today, so thank you, Todd. Of course, Lisa and Liz, thank you guys so much for being our speakers. And I've got a couple volunteers as well. We've got Parisia, Amreen, Christian. I see 2 girls in the front. We've got Amreen in the back. So thank you guys for helping me with tonight's event.